Oh my goddess. Here I am again, and there you are. Again, here we are in the cyberspace auditorium. Welcome to Miraculii University, the mystery school, and our subject today, part 2 of thriving in Mercury retrograde. So I welcome you to the blessedness of this experience. It's a time for tremendous transformation, a time for awakening in the cosmic consciousness that we all are. We've just experienced the solar eclipse, new moon, which took place on yesterday. And that was a very powerful event. It also factors into this Mercury retrograde. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that and how we can take advantage of the frequencies and the energies that are available to us through all these cosmic and planetary occurrences. I welcome you. I thank you so much for being with me in this forum. I invite you to be in the awareness of the magnificence of your soul, the beauty of who you are, and the tremendous blessing that you are unto the whole of life. The expansion of the universe is at the mercy of your personal growth, of you being all that you can be, of you completely showing up in the resonance of your divine reality. So we had the solar eclipse, new moon on yesterday, a very powerful event in cosmic history. And basically, in a nutshell, when there is a solar eclipse, the moon gets in between the sun and the earth and completely blocks out the light. And so it's something very powerfully significant about the fact that the moon stands between the sun and the earth. The moon is the central core. The moon is the subjective aspect of our being. The moon is the cosmic mother. The moon is the sacred void, as is the resonance of Mercury retrograde, because things turn inward, which is like the sacred void, which is like that eternal blackness out of which everything is created. And so we rise in a new level of awareness of creation, just as it is spoken in the creation story. So God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And so it is, beloved, that we must learn how to move upon the face of the waters, which is to say, move upon the emotional body. The emotional body is representative of the waters, which is also likened to the mother. And it was the Father God that said, "Let there be." And it was the Mother God that said, "And there was." So I'm going to open up the chat for a moment. And what I'd like for you to do is to say where it is that you're from, where your body is right now, what city, what country, and also one word that represents the gift that you'd like to give to our sacred circle today. imagining that it was everybody's birthday today, everybody that's in the cyberspace auditorium. And I have a feeling we're going to get a lot more coming in. I know I certainly had a lot more registrants, and it's kind of characteristic of Mercury retrograde. People may be running a little late, but it doesn't matter. Whatever the case, we're here together and we're going to make it happen in a most amazing way and experience some dynamic transformation. So I'm opening up the chat now. I want one word that represents the gift that you would like to bring to our sacred circle, and also where it is that you are broadcasting from. Imagine that it was everyone's birthday. What is the gift that you are bringing? Healing. I see healing. Okay, and I know there's a whole lot more coming through. Anyway, you all are able to read this as well, so I'm not going to take the time to necessarily read everything that is there, though I promise you when the broadcast is over, I read every single comment that is in the chat. So even if I don't respond to everyone in the moment that the webinar is taking place live, just know that I'm definitely interfacing with everything that you are reaching out. I see acceptance. I see freedom. So these are the gifts that are being brought. And I want you to feel the resonant connection with every person that is here. Now I'm going to close the chat right now, and we will be back to the chat later with regards to some questions, you know, that you might have. But right now I have a download that I want to bring forward. And so you've seen all of those different blessings that are being brought forth. So I want you to feel the resonance of being blessed with all of those different energies. So when it comes to Mercury retrograde or any other life situation, you know, we're dealing with cause and effect. You know, a lot of us speak about cause and effect, but then there's a third party, and that is effect. See, the cause is that which initiates something in the being. The effect is that which comes about. And then the effect is the way that we determine that we're going to be impacted by it. And that's what we're really working on right now, is to be in the realm of the divine effect of things. That even when the effects of life represent a tremendous challenge, that we want to respond in such a way that it affects us so that we are empowered, because we're meant to be empowered by everything. I think of spirit rap. And many of you are aware of spirit rap, my invocations and prayers. And of the 19 CDs that I have, that particular CD has outsold everything ever since I released it in the year of 2000. And I'm remembering a time, it was very shortly after releasing that album, and I had the presence of mind and heart to gift a specific brother friend of mine, and I sent it to him in the mail. And it wasn't too much longer, some days after that, I received a call from him, and he was literally just about in tears. And he said that this piece had literally saved his life. He said that things were so difficult for him in his life that he was, you know, ready to just pull the plug and leave this planet. And he went to his mailbox and opened it up, and there was spirit rap. And he said he sat in his car and he listened to that album, which is an hour long, from start to finish, and his complete life transformed as a result of that. He recommitted to being a part of this life and no longer felt like he wanted to take himself out. And it was just the most amazing testimonial that I received. So I want to bring in the resonance of spirit rap to offer a very powerful transmission now. And I'd like for you to be receptive to this. Receive this with the intention of transforming every challenging or negative situation that you're dealing with and causing those situations to become servant unto you and enabling you to become empowered, you know, by them. So this is a healing transmission of spirit rap for you and me and every being in all existence, including every trouble spot within our world. And we thank you, Divine Creator, for presencing with us. I invoke, decree, and dream awake the full cellular ascension of my being, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, in this now, with the full support of God, Goddess, the Ascended Master Realm, to include our Ascended Master Self, Father Saint Germain, Sananda, the Holy Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, Goddess of Mercy, Archangel Michael and the legions, Ashtar and the entire command, Babaji, Raphael, Gabriel, clan of the trumpet angels, aboriginal and tribal shaman, goddesses of the fortune, angels of light, Elohim, clan of the serpents, Shiva, all Christ frequencies, all animal totems, elementals of fire, air, water, and earth, all divine beings of light, love, and ascension, named and unnamed, to activate the cells within my being who are your counterparts with the unified power of the One. I decree my highest good always operating in this now. I decree grace and mercy always operating in this now. I invoke, decree, and dream awake the full truth and reality of ascension in this now. I invoke and dream awake with every breath that I breathe, the violet fire transmuting my whole being. I invoke and dream awake the full current of ascension in every cell of my being. I am ascended. I invoke and dream awake expanded God consciousness fully realized in me as unlimited abundance fulfilling my every need and desire. I invoke and dream awake the ending of procrastination, tiredness, blockages, obstacles, and unhealthy belief systems. I decree immediate abundance in my life. I invoke and dream awake my liberation from all karmic debt. I am infinite opulence. I invoke and dream awake my personal empowerment in every instant that anyone is impacted by my being and creations. I invoke and dream awake the infinite empowerment of my sexual, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, and financial relationship with life. I invoke and dream awake sacred sexuality, erotic innocence, and always express the sacredness of sexual force for pleasure, creativity, and healing. I invoke and dream awake world universal healing from all sexual woundedness and shame. I invoke and dream awake worldwide release of all manipulating forces and beings who would control humanity past, present, and future. I invoke the angels and ascended masters to realign and heal all misused energy, to include the full restructuring of our DNA. I invoke and dream awake the transmutation of all negative and judgmental projections. I invoke and dream awake my constant ability to be centered and balanced in my psychic perceptions and empathic nature. All overwhelming psychic energies are released by me automatically, easily, effortlessly. I am empowered by everything. I invoke and dream awake my lucid dreaming each night I sleep and total remembering when I awake. I invoke and dream awake my infinite harmony with God, Goddess I am. I invoke and dream awake the full expression of my miraculous healing power. My life is a continuous stream of miracles. I invoke and dream awake my infinite ability and willingness to receive all life's blessings. I invoke and dream awake a constant attitude of gratitude for my whole life, all my accomplishments and blessings, including the same for the universe at large. I invoke and dream awake the full blessings of God, Goddess, the ascended masters, angels, guides, and beings of light to bless this earth. I invoke and dream awake all my decrees, invocations, and prayers I have released to the universe and open myself to God's response, support, and love in my highest good. I invoke and dream awake the release of all past, present, and future lifetimes of decrees and vows which would bind me to limitation, lack, density, and anything not of ascension in this now. I invoke and dream awake the full reclaiming of my eternal self as powerful, loving, and fully aligned in abundant God consciousness. I invoke and dream awake the total dissolving of all manipulating forces which would bind this earth plane in fear. I invoke and dream awake the influence of the ascended master realm and angels to intercede and raise the vibrations higher to bring darkness into the light, raising the frequency of love and God consciousness on planet Earth in this now. I invoke and dream awake the ascension of planet Earth in this now. I invoke and dream awake the ascension of my soul and your soul in this Now. Breathe it in. Feel the light. Feel the love. Life is beautiful. And I thank you for having the presence of mind and heart to receive that transmission of spirit rap. You know, we speak the word in order to bring about the reality of what it is that we want. And you may have noticed that I was speaking the word with tremendous power. You know, when you invoke your affirmations and your invocations, you want to speak them with power, because the greater measure of emotional energy that you project into the words that you're speaking, the more powerful the transition is to let those or have those words morph into crystallized manifestation. Because the lifespan of a thought is always determined by the amount of emotional energy that you project that thought with. You know, if a thought is not projected with tremendous emotionality, then its lifespan is very short and it usually fizzles out very quickly. So you want to always be about really sending forth your affirmations and your decrees and invocations with a great passion and a great sense of joy, you know, and then you are able to bring those things into manifestation a lot more easily. So Mercury retrograde. Mercury is a planet that has to do with verbalization. It has to do with communication. It has to do with speaking. And one of the real profound aspects of communication lies within the breath. And the breath is something that is extremely important and sometimes something that we kind of take for granted. You know, breath is a profound something that we want to learn to pay more attention to. You know, the deeper we breathe, the more oxygenated the brain cells become. You know, the deeper we breathe, the sharper the mind becomes. When we don't breathe deep, then the mind can be, or you know, there's through the shallowness of breath, there can also be a corresponding shallowness of mind. So the average person is only using about 5 or 10% of the mind and brain capacity. And the average person is also only breathing about 5 or 10% of the breathing capacity. So in order to transmute some of the negative energies or would-be negative energies associated with Mercury retrograde, also associated with the Lion's Gate portal, associated with the lunar eclipse as well as the solar eclipse, because always during these particular eclipses, you know, there is a certain amount of shadow energies that we have to address. And the breath is one of the means by which we can tremendously transform these energies. So I'm going to share something with you that I wrote around the breath, about the breath. I call it decoding the breath of life. Breath is stillness in slow motion. Breath is voluntary and involuntary. Breath is the breast milk of source, the breast milk of God. We feel the movement of God through the movement of our breath. Inhalation is the access to inspiration, the entering in of spirit. Exhalation is expiration, the exiting of spirit. Breath is the central core of being and is untouched by any negativity. Breath transcends imbalanced emotions. Breathe in deep and full. Breath is also a carrier wave of consciousness. When you breathe deep, full breaths, you allow exalted consciousness to have its way with you. You allow yourself to begin to tap in to a greater measure of the all-knowingness that you are the microcosmic container for, as you are a biological living library containing the knowledge of all things. And breath is the means by which you can come into a deeper alignment with this consciousness. Breath is the fuel of all that is known or ever will be known. Every breath fuels and fires the brain cells and makes the mind a sharper and greater portal for knowledge and wisdom. Breath is the Spirit of God, or let me say, breath being the Spirit of God is eternal and extends from the beginningless beginning all the way into the endless end. Breath is the affirmation of the eternality of our soul. Breathe deep. Feel the resonance of Creator. Feel the resonance of God. Feel the resonance of that within you that rises above every difficulty. That's something within you. Breathe in that's something within you that knows that you are meant to be empowered by everything. Whatever the difficulty is in your life, whoever the difficult people are within your life, choose by virtue of the power of this moment of breath moving through your being to be empowered by those situations, to be empowered by those people, to ensure that all of that becomes servant unto you and not master over you. Ordain that everything associated with Mercury retrograde is going to add and give unto your empowerment. Aligning with the specifics of what the Mercury retrograde is all about. It's about introspection. Be willing to turn within and look inside. It's about the speaking sometimes slowing down so that there are more spaces between the words, open to the communication that exists between words, that becomes a catalyst for the accentuation of your telepathic ability. Choose right now to be sharper in your telepathy, to be able to experience the communication between you and other beings and other planets and other dimensions without the necessity of words. This is available to you. Feel the resonance of the veils being thinner between the dimensions and make the decision to be in deeper communion with the other side, deeper communion with the angels. What is an angel? An angle of the being of God. There are angels on the other side, but so are you. An angel because you are an angle of God's being. An angel is an angle of God. All expressions of life are angles of God. You are that angelic resonance of being that chose to come into physicality, to become incarnated. Feel the reality of this moment of the we incarnation. We are we incarnated in this moment, incarnated as a collective of beings for the purpose of expanding consciousness within ourselves individually and within the universe collectively. Breathe life awake. Breathe life awake. Feel the presence of the whole universe that is keeping sacred company with itself through the individualization of your soul. That level of communion and communication is available through this Mercury retrograde experience. The outer mind slows down. The inner mind accelerates. Exalted consciousness is available to us. Here we are, the 22nd day of August 22, a master number. You know, there are 22 cards in the major arcana of the tarot. And the tarot is a representation of the actual journey of our soul when we step down from the higher realms of spirit down into incarnation. You know, and those 22 cards can be summed up by 4 of them that cracks the complete code of the tarot. So it starts with the Fool. Doesn't mean fool in the literal sense. The Fool represents the unincarnated resonance of our higher being that then steps down into manifestation. And the first step is the Magician. And then the very middle point of that journey is Justice, Justice, but was really meant to be Justis, because true justice is not just ice, but rather that which just is, Justis. And then the completion of the journey is the world or the universe. So when you crack the code of the tarot in those 4 cards out of the 22 major arcana, it is, you know, the Fool, the Magician, Justice, and the world. And the code is cracked through what is stated as the Fool, Magician, just is the world. See, you just are the world, just are the whole universe. Breath is our connection and access code to eternity. If you want to feel who you are as an eternal being, then go deeper into your breathing. I'd like for you to breathe in something really powerful. And that is, breathe in, I, the ascended, I am the ascended master. That's a count of 8. I am the ascended master. Count of 8, and then you hold the breath for 4. God, me, I am. And then you inhale. I am the ascended master. Then you hold. God, me, I am. Inhale. I am the ascended master. Hold. God, me, I am. Exhale. I am the ascended master. Hold. God, me, I am. Inhale. I am the ascended master. Hold. God, me, I am. Exhale. I am the ascended master. Hold. God, me, I am. Inhale. I am the ascended master. Hold. God, me, I am. Exhale. I am the ascended master. Hold. God, me, I am. Inhale. I am the ascended master. Hold. God, me, I am. Exhale. I am the ascended master. Hold. God, me, I am. Inhale. I am the ascended master. Hold. God, me, I am. Exhale. I am the ascended master. Hold. God, me, I am. Inhale. I am the ascended master. Hold. God, me, I am. Exhale. I am the ascended master. God, me, I am. So that's a very powerful exercise that you can work with. And then, of course, when you're working with it, you find where your comfort zone is on the count of 8. You know, it's 8 syllables. I am the ascended master. And then the 4 syllables, half of the 8, God, me, I am. So it's always the inhale, you know, and then the holding of the count of 4, and then the exhale and the holding of the count of 4. That's a meditation technique that was taught to me by Spirit not long ago, and I've been using it for a little while now, and it's extremely powerful, and I invite you to work with it. Okay, birth and death are the two great facets of breath. Upon birth, the first axis of breath is the inhalation. Upon death, the last axis of breath is the exhalation. We inhale our way into the body and exhale our way back into spirit. Every deep breath is a prayer for life and lengthens our physical lifespan. Every shallow breath denies life its full potential. Every deep breath is a prayer for life and lengthens our physical lifespan. Every shallow breath denies life and limits the welcoming of God into the kingdom of our body and soul. Every deep breath fuels the brain cells and makes the mind sharper and a greater portal for knowledge and wisdom. Every word is the movement of breath. Every song is the melody of breath. You see, you cannot sing without breathing. You cannot speak without breathing. Breath is that which gives fuel and fire to the song as well as the word. Our power lies in the breath. Breath is the fuel of ecstasy and bliss. When we go into a state of ecstasy and we go into a state of bliss, you know, there is a powerful movement of breath that is taking place. During the day, plants and trees and all vegetation emits massive amounts of oxygen. That's why it's really powerful to spend quality time around vegetation during the daylight hours and breathe in the oxygen that is being emitted by them. Mouth-to-mouth resuscitation brings the dead and dying back to physical life. Breath is God within, hiding in plain sight. Breath is the supreme source of life that creates inner substance, which then becomes the form of manifestation. Breath is the life force of us all and has no boundaries of separation. We all breathe the same air. You cannot discriminate. We take in a commonality of breathing through oxygenation. Breath follows and empowers thought and feeling. Therefore, we must be discerning about what we focus our mind and our emotions upon. To be negative toward any being is to be negative toward breath, which blocks our access to the greater blessings of breath. Breath is the means by which I realize that I am happening to my life rather than the illusion that my life is happening to me. To be inspired is to be moved in the creation. To be inspired is to be moved in creation by breath. Breath is the access code to the fountain of youth. Breath is the evidence of our infinite abundance. Breath is the activity of love. To breathe is to love, and to love is to breathe. Deep breathing awakens eternal remembrance as the wings of cosmic consciousness. Breath is the breast milk of Source. Breath is the breast milk of Source. Drink up. So we went through the solar eclipse. And as I said earlier, it was the moon getting in between the sun and the earth and blocking out the light, which lets us know that the moon must lead the way. There's another piece I want to share with you that I think ties into the solar eclipse. I call it potential in the void. Back before the birth of the universe, you were a seed of eternal potentiality of divine being. Back before the birth of the universe, you were a seed of eternal potentiality of divine being. And God Goddess, in cosmic copulation, conceived the creation birth of this great universe, of which you are an eternal part. Though you were only a potential in the mind of God Goddess, as part of the universe about to be created, you knew even then, before you were created, everything that is, was, or ever will be. Every potential part of the creation carries the seed consciousness of the Creator. You spring from an eternal void which has no beginning and unfolds into an endless end. You were not a manifestation and had no form before your emergence from this vortex void of creation. Yet as a seed potential in a cocoon of eternal blackness, you were another home for cosmic consciousness. And now you are a part of a newborn universe, spat forth from the mouth of God Goddess, moving forward as an individual life form. You are now the microcosmic container of the macrocosmic all that is. And so it is with the solar eclipse. There was this blackness, this void, this darkness, and everything that is a representation of light emerges from that which is the darkness, the womb of creation, the womb of the universe. As I said before, in the creation story, it says, "So God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, said, let there be light, and there was light." See, the darkness upon the face of the deep is that eternal void, that eternal blackness out of which everything emerges. See, you were not a manifestation and had no form before your emergence from this vortex void of creation. Yet as a seed potential in a cocoon of eternal blackness, you were another home for cosmic consciousness. Just like your home or the vortex womb or the womb of creation, the womb of your mind and the womb of your soul, is a home for every creation that you will bear forth into eventual manifestation. It already exists as a seed potential in the womb of your mind, in the womb of your soul. At this particular time, I'd like to have you go on a little bit of a journey. I'm going to play a track. It's the same track. I just did it, Spirit Rap, but this is going to be for a whole nother purpose. While the track is playing, I'm going to be internally transmitting you a frequency, you know, and you'll feel it in a very, very powerful way. So, and also you're going to have some visuals with this one, so you can, you know, interface with the visuals that you'll see, you know, which are in alignment with the words that you'll be hearing, while also being aware that I am internally transmitting something very meaningful and significant to you. And this download, this transmission is for about 12 minutes. So really breathe into it, because we've got some powerful ground to cover afterwards. But this is going to open your soul up to a whole, to an expanded level of receptivity. So let me reach in here and grab this video. Okay, let's see. Get it selected, the one that we want. Okay, there it is, and we're going to load it up, and load it, and then play it.
Cellular ascension of my being, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, in this now, with the full support of God, Goddess, the Ascended Master Realm, to include our Ascended Master Self, Father Saint Germain, Sananda, the Holy Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, Goddess of Mercy, Archangel Michael and the legions, Ashtar and the entire command, Babaji, Raphael, Gabriel, Clan of the Trumpet Angels, Aboriginal and Tribal Shaman, Goddess of the Fortune, Angels of Light, Elohim, Clan of the Serpents, Shiva, all Christ frequencies, all animal totems, elementals of fire, air, water, and earth, all divine beings of light, love, and ascension, named and unnamed, to activate the cells within my being who are your counterparts with the unified power of the One. I decree my highest good always operating in this now. I decree grace and mercy always operating in this now. I invoke, decree, and dream awake a full truth and reality of ascension in this now. I invoke and dream awake with every breath that I breathe, the violet fire transmuting my whole being. I invoke and dream awake the full current of ascension in every cell of my being. I am ascended. I invoke and dream awake expanded God consciousness, fully realized in me, as unlimited abundance fulfilling my every need and desire. I invoke and dream awake the ending of procrastination, tiredness, blockages, obstacles, and unhealthy belief systems. I decree immediate abundance in my life. I invoke and dream awake my liberation from all karmic debt. I am infinite opulence. I invoke and dream awake my personal empowerment in every instant that anyone is impacted by my being and creations. I invoke and dream awake the infinite empowerment of my sexual, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, and financial relationship with life. I invoke and dream awake sacred sexuality, erotic innocence, and always express the sacredness of sexual force for pleasure, creativity, and healing. I invoke and dream awake world universal healing from all sexual woundedness and shame. I invoke and dream awake worldwide release of all manipulating forces and beings who would control humanity past, present, and future. nature. I invoke the angels and ascended masters to realign and heal all misused energy, to include the full restructuring of our DNA. I invoke and dream awake the transmutation of all negative and judgmental projections. I invoke and dream awake my constant ability to be centered and balanced in my psychic perceptions and empathic nature. All overwhelming psychic energies are released by me automatically, easily, effortlessly. I am empowered by everything. I invoke and dream awake my lucid dreaming each night I sleep and total remembering when I awake. I invoke and dream awake my infinite harmony with God, Goddess I am. I invoke and dream awake the full expression of my miraculous healing power. My life is a continuous stream of miracles. I invoke and dream awake my infinite ability and willingness to receive all life's blessings. I invoke and dream awake a constant attitude of gratitude for my whole life, all my accomplishments and blessings, including the same for the universe at large. I invoke and dream awake the full blessings of God, Goddess, the ascended masters, angels, guides, and beings of light to bless this earth. I invoke and dream awake all my decrees, invocations, and prayers I have released to the universe and open myself to God's response, support, and love in my highest good. I invoke and dream awake the release of all past, present, and future lifetimes of decrees and vows which would bind me to limitation, lack, density, and anything not of ascension in this now. I invoke and dream awake the full reclaiming of my eternal self as powerful, loving, and fully aligned in abundant God consciousness. I invoke and dream awake the total dissolving of all manipulating forces which would bind this earth plane in fear. I invoke and dream awake the influence of the ascended master realm and angels to intercede and raise the vibrations higher, to bring darkness into the light, raising the frequency of love and God consciousness on planet Earth in this now. I invoke and dream awake the ascension of planet Earth in this now.
And dream awake the full cellular ascension of my being, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual in this now, with the full support of God, Goddess, the ascended master realm to include our ascended master self, Father Saint Germain, Sananda, the Holy Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, Goddess of Mercy, Archangel Michael and the legions, Ashtar and the entire command, Babaji, Raphael, Gabriel, clan of the trumpet angels, aboriginal and tribal shaman, goddesses of fortune, angels of light, Elohim, clan of the serpents, Shiva, all Christ's frequencies, all animal totems, elementals of fire, air, water, and earth, all divine beings of light, love, and ascension, named and unnamed, to activate the cells within my being who are your counterparts with the unified power of the One. I decree my highest good always operating in this now. I decree grace and mercy always operating in this now. I invoke, decree, and dream awake the full reality of ascension in this now. I invoke and dream awake with every breath that I breathe the violet fire transmuting my whole being. I invoke and dream awake the full current of ascension in every cell of my being. I am ascended. I invoke and dream awake expanded God consciousness, fully realized in me as unlimited abundance, fulfilling my every need and desire. I invoke and dream awake the ending of procrastination, tiredness, blockages, obstacles, and unhealthy belief systems. I decree immediate abundance in my life. I invoke and dream awake my liberation from all karmic debt. I am infinite opulence. I invoke and dream awake my personal empowerment in every instant that anyone is impacted by my being and creations. I invoke and dream awake the infinite empowerment of my sexual, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, and financial relationship with life. I invoke and dream awake sacred sexuality,
erotic innocence, and always express the sacredness of sexual force for pleasure, creativity, and healing. I invoke and dream awake world universal healing from all sexual woundedness and shame. I invoke and dream awake worldwide release of all manipulating forces and beings who would control humanity past, present, and future. I invoke the angels and ascended masters to realign and heal all misused energy to include the full restructuring of our DNA. I invoke and dream awake the transmutation of all negative and judgmental projections. I invoke and dream awake my constant ability to be centered and balanced in my psychic perceptions and empathic nature. All overwhelming psychic energies are released by me automatically, easily, effortlessly. I am empowered by everything. I invoke and dream awake my lucid dreaming each night I sleep and total remembering when I awake. I invoke and dream awake my infinite harmony with God, Goddess I am. I invoke and dream awake the full expression of my miraculous healing power. My life is a continuous stream of miracles. I invoke and dream awake my infinite ability and willingness to receive all life's blessings. I invoke and dream awake a constant attitude of gratitude for my whole life, all my accomplishments and blessings, including the same for the universe at large. I invoke and dream awake the full blessings of God, Goddess, the ascended masters, angels, guides, and beings of light to bless this earth. I invoke and dream awake all my decrees, invocations, and prayers I have released to the universe and open myself to God's response, support, and love in my highest good. I invoke and dream awake the release of all past, present, and future lifetimes of decrees and vows which would bind me to limitation, lack, density, and anything not of ascension in this now. I invoke and dream awake the full reclaiming of my eternal self as powerful, loving, and fully aligned in abundant God consciousness. I invoke and dream awake the total dissolving of all manipulating forces which would bind this earth plane in fear. I invoke and dream awake the influence of the ascended master realm and angels to intercede and raise the vibrations higher, to bring darkness into the light, raising the frequency of love and God consciousness on planet Earth in this now. I invoke and dream awake the ascension of my soul and planet Earth in this now.
Welcome back. I'm sure you had an amazingly wonderful journey with that. That's that piece from Spirit Rap and Spirit Rap Meditation. It is can be accessed on YouTube if you want to have another experience of that. One of the things that's really significant about it is that I have binaural beats in it. You know, and so whenever you work with it with your headphones on, then you'll experience, you know, the benefit of the binaural beats. They usually the ones I use in that one is in the theta brainwave frequencies. When the brain waves are in theta, you're like way deep down in your central core and deeply connected to the Most High, you know, the source, you know, that spark of divinity and God within you. So be sure and take advantage of all of the different things that work for you. And I'm sure you're aware at this time of being in a deeper resonance of peacefulness, of calmness. In a nutshell, a binaural beat is where you have, let's say, one tone in the left ear and a slightly different tone in the right ear, and the relationship between the two tones create a third tone in the middle, which is the binaural beat. You know, for example, if one tone was 300 hertz and the other tone was 295 hertz, the difference between them is 5 hertz, and so the binaural beat in the middle would be 5 hertz. You don't have to understand all of the technicality of that. Just know that when you put the headphones on, you have this relationship between two distinctly different tones that becomes assimilated by your brain, and then there is a third tone in the middle created, which is the binaural beat. Don't judge your judgment. Don't hate your hatred. Don't fear your fear. And don't hurt more than your pain. I say that because sometimes we experience situations as human beings where we do judge something, and we put something down, or we put someone down. And the first step to get beyond that judgment is don't judge your judgment. Don't judge your judgment. Don't judge another person's judgment, because when you judge, you compound whatever that situation is. You make it bigger than what it was originally. So don't judge your judgment. Don't hate your hatred, or don't resent your resentment. Sometimes we fall into the human trap of having resentment towards someone, something, or even resentment toward our own self. But if you find yourself in a state of resentment or even a state of hatred, don't hate your hatred. That's the first step. Beyond it, you see, like, God is not pissed off with any of us but about our stumblings in life, because God is of the infinite awareness that ultimately we're going to wake up and come home. If God was in an urgency for us to behave, then God, in God's all-powerfulness, could have simply created it in such a way that we had to behave and had to only do it in one way and be obedient. But that's not how God set it up. Set it up with free will. But there is an infinite knowingness within Source, within Creator, that eventually, I mean, we could run amok for half an eternity, and eventually, you know, we're going to wake up, see the light, and come back home. I mean, I look at my own self. Oh my God. I look at what I had to make my way through, you know, as a teenager, leaving my mother's house at age 16 and taking to the streets. And it took me a couple of years to learn how to take care of myself. You know, I lived on the streets. I was homeless, but didn't even know it. You know, didn't have I just felt like, well, I was just having a hard time. In one way or another, it was going to work out. But it just, I think it was about 19 years old when I finally learned how to take care of myself. But I was, you know, sleeping in gambling houses and sleeping in the whorehouse and on the L train from one end of the line to the other. You know, and this was my reality, 16, 17, 18. You know, my mom and I sat down and decided at age 16, since I wasn't going to obey the rules, that it was best for me to leave. And so it was. And the man took to the streets and took a while to learn how to take care of himself. And then, you know, became a part of some of the negativity that I was faced with, because all the role models I grew up with in the ghettos of Chicago were pimps and hoes and gangsters and thieves and con men and con women. And God was kind enough to take care of me through all of that. And I tell you what, when I turned 22, the light came on, and I came on my spiritual path, and I have not looked back since. And I'm so grateful for that. And it was like maybe a couple months after I entered onto my spiritual path, which, you know, basically was 3 days before my 22nd birthday. You know, my birthday is January 26th, and I entered consciously onto my spiritual path on January 23rd. I wrote this poem, and I want to share it with you, because when I wrote this poem, I saw the purpose for my whole life. I knew what my life was for when I wrote this poem. I call it Cause and Effect, the universal law of necessity. And I wrote it at the tender age of 22. I had just turned 22 for a couple of months and wrote this poem. And I dedicate it to you because there's so many different keys in it that aligns the way in which we're meant to take charge of our life. That which is necessary. That which is necessary shall be. There is no escape from the fulfillment of necessity. To make a vain attempt will find one in the spider web of cyclicity. Around and around a constant revolution, not learning the lesson or receiving the message that would afford one a divine solution. But as for every experience, yours or mine, we are the creators of necessity in thought and word and deed, you see, never an element of chance, not for you or for me, because we project the causes, the effects become necessary. We create action, circumstance, and destiny. And now we know exactly what to expect through the universal law of cause and effect. But during the times when something negative would happen to us, our burdens seemed so heavy and oh, how unjust. And we cursed and cried, how could this happen to us? But the seeming negative thing was a lesson and a message too that could be highly beneficial to me and to you. The lesson and the message were like a door mark pull, but our head was so hard and we were stubborn as a bull, for there we were pushing on a door mark pull. What are we doing? No wonder all the strife. Let us pass through the door of experience and it will serve us in life. So we open up the door, we stand tall and we face it. Our cup is somewhat bitter, but we receptively embrace it. Oh, it's a very wise decision, for we cannot escape it. Yes, this effect was reaped from a cause we did so, and now is simply the time to pay the debt that we owe. So with calm assurance, we now walk through the door to be tormented by this experience no more. For the lesson we have learned and the message we did hear it, oh, how it expanded our mind and quickened our spirit. Yes, that circumstance was no element of chance. We were only receiving our own, and that's why we embraced it. Behold the things of greater brilliance on the other side of the door that now dutifully and gracefully fulfill and replace it. To think we foolishly thought it was a disadvantage. What a blessing to realize that every seeming negative thing must always have an equal positive advantage. And now that all negative thoughts have been divinely released, our countenances filled with that heavenly peace, a peace firm in the supreme spirit of eternal standing. I mean that unshakable peace that passeth understanding. And now we deny the influence of anything distressing, for there's a lesson that is teaching and a lesson wisely expressing to please study us closely, for we are really a blessing. And now whatever our fate, let us not be disturbed. It did not happen to hurt us, but to humbly serve. Despite the seeming pain and apparent distress, all situations are to uplift our consciousness. And now we deny the influence of anything distressing. There's a lesson that is teaching, a message wisely expressing. Please study us closely. We are really a blessing. Now the knowledge has been bestowed upon you and upon me that whatever comes into being is born of necessity. No more will we be caught in the web of cyclicity. We are now empowered by the dance of cause and effect, the universal law of necessity. And so God gave me that download at the tender age of 22 so that I could see what my life was for. That my life was meant to share and uplift people, not to get over on people, to be a source of expansion of consciousness and empowerment of the universe. And so we all have something that we have brought forth into this divine life of ours. So you want to look at what is it that you were meant to bring forward into this life. How is life blessed? By virtue of your offering. Because you have an offering that no one can give exactly like you. During this solar eclipse, the planet Uranus was in a very close trine. Uranus in Aries, in a very close trine to the solar eclipse, indicating that there is something very unique within you. You know, Uranus represents that which is unusual, that which is unique. It's also higher consciousness, you know, and it represents independence, sudden and unexpected occurrences. So there could be a sudden and unexpected download or sudden and unexpected insight that brings you into alignment with what it is that your greater offering is meant to be in this life, in this world. So one thing I want to do before I open up the chat line so we can, you know, begin to, you know, give you the space to put out some questions or some comments or whatever. I want to tell you about a couple of these CDs. Are having a little bit of a commercial break here. Let me see if I can get the light to shine in such a way. Okay, that's Spirit Wrap. It might, the glare might be on it. Anyway, that's Spirit Wrap. And you heard a couple versions of that. And I highly recommend, you know, that album. It has 12 tracks, you know, and so you've heard one track out of the 12 invocations. I have another album, which is this is a Prosperity Master Plan. And Prosperity Master Plan is a download about prosperity, you know, bringing about abundance. And it also has binaural beats, you know, in it as well. And it's some of the creme de la creme of what I put forth. I also have Deep Space Meditation, and Deep Space Meditation, you know, also has binaural beats. It's vocal harmonics, you know, and also you have some Spirit Wrap invocations embedded, you know, deep down in the recesses of it, you know, as well. And lastly, I have a Sound Wizard, and Sound Wizard is, you know, didgeridoo, you know, which also has vocal harmonics, and it has Spirit Wrap embedded in it. And so I have 19 CDs, but those 4 represent some of the creme de la creme of what I have. I mean, they're all wonderful, but I wanted to just kind of showcase and highlight those. And so I have a special on my website when you purchase 4 albums, and if you get them as digital downloads, they're just $9.99 per album. And then of course you can have the hard copy CD, which can be mailed to you, which is going to be, you know, $20, you know. But I have a special: buy 3, get the 4th one free. However, if you get the buy 3, get the 4th one free within the next 24 hours, then you'll get an additional 5th CD, and you can email me as to which one you want that to be, and I'll send it to you via WeTransfer. So that's 24 hours to order 4 CDs. It doesn't have to be the 4 that I showed you. It can be any 4 of the 19 CDs that I have, and then you'll get another 5th one. So you just be purchasing 3, automatically getting 1 free, and then getting another one free. So you're basically buying 3 and getting 2 more free if you do it within the next 24 hours. That's one commercial. And then the other one is, I want you to partake of my my sessions. I do amazing session work, and many of you have done this work with me, and I want more of you to partake of this experience. So I have a session which is an hour-and-a-half session that is $177. The 2-hour session is $233. But if you get the 1.5-hour session, $177, within the next 24 hours, then you'll get an additional half an hour free. So in essence, you're getting the $233 session for the $177 price if you book it or go to my website. I mean, it doesn't have to be done in the next 24 hours, but at least submit the payment within the next 24 hours. And there's my commercial. So please partake of that. I love you so much. I'm opening up the chat lines now, and I'd love to hear from you as to how the energy is flowing with you. Okay, I believe it's open as we speak. Are you feeling your vibrations lifted? Do you feel higher, of a more elevated vibration? Are you sacredly drunk from some of the transmissions? So I believe I've got it open. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Okay, well, anyway, I'm going to just keep on flowing. And then if there's some chats that come in, I see that there are definitely, people still in the cyberspace auditorium. That's for sure. Okay, so let me just leave the chat lines open. But let me say a little bit about the cause and effect that I recited. That was a big download, because so often we tend to feel as if we are victims, like something or someone outside of ourselves has chosen the course of our life, and no one and nothing can choose the course of our life. Okay, sacredly drunk from Brother Winston. I'm pretty sacredly drunk myself too. So anyway, you all can keep on with the chats, and you certainly be able to read whatever it is that you all are saying. Feeling great and grateful. Yeah, I love you for that, Wendy. Thank you so much. I am great and grateful as well. So as I was saying, that there are times that we feel like we're a victim, like something or someone outside of ourselves has did this or that to us. But everything that ever happens in our life, we create, though we don't always create everything at a conscious level. Many things are created from an unconscious place. But anything that is within your life is necessary, because it's made necessary by virtue of you initiating it into being. That which is necessary. That which is necessary shall be. There is no escape from the fulfillment of necessity, and to make a vain attempt will find you in a spider web of cyclicity, where you go around and around in a constant revolution, because you're not learning the lesson or receiving the message that would afford you the divine solution, because you have to learn everything that any situation has to teach in order to rise above that situation. And so what is it, though, that the difficult things in life are having to teach you? What are they saying to you? What are you meant to learn from them? Because you are meant to be empowered by everything. Okay, let me just see if I can get a sense of some of what's being spoken here. Okay, somebody said they missed most of the transmission from arriving late, but it's going to be a download link, and the download link will, a replay link, and it will be available, I think probably in the neighborhood of 10:30 Eastern time, after checking, but it's always available. There's always a replay link, so you'll be able to get the rest of the download. Okay, let's see. I had to understand about receiving the message once I got. The learning came quickly. Thank you so much, Gwendolyn, Jessica. Let's see. Are there any stones you recommend for meditation personally? Always, clear quartz is really a wonderful stone And you see stones all around. These are all crystal wands and staffs that I have made. I'm not going to go into the specifics about the wands and the staffs today. I do have a number of amazing wands available. I think probably about 9 of them I have left available. And if you have some personal interest in that, then what you can do is reach out. You can give me a phone call if you're local, 928-254-9535. We can also do a Skype together, and where you can get a visual, of the wands, but that's a whole nother thing. But I recommend clear quartz, in terms of something that you can meditate with. Clear quartz, has a direct correlation to our human physiology because it's silicon dioxide, and we have a certain measure of silica within our own physiology. If you were to, for instance, lay on your back and place a quartz crystal, one that was, maybe just, maybe about a size and a half of your thumb, not more than two thumb sizes, and place it on your forehead, you'd be able to hear or feel rather your heartbeat and your pulse in the crystal. There's a definite correlation that is there, and crystal is also something that helps to bring you into an alignment with your Christ consciousness. Crystal, Christ, all. So there is something about Christ consciousness that has a direct correlation with crystal frequency that's helping to awaken us, in the awareness of who we are as individualized extensions of the Creator, because that's what the Christ principle is within us. Okay. Ariel, I need to learn how to remain balanced and not let people get on my frequency or cause my frequency to drop into negativity. Okay, so one of the ways in which you learn how to keep from falling into the trap of other people's negative energy is, first and foremost, don't judge their negativity. Sometimes the biggest trap is that we have a negative judgment upon the negativity, and so the negativity then becomes even bigger than it was in the first place. So it's really important to, keep your heart open and full of love. And also you have to determine proximity. Like, some people are not the healthiest people to be around. Now, in some instances, you might have coworkers where you have to be around them, but the way in which you keep from being caught up in negativity is having a very accelerated frequency of your own, where your own vibration is very powerfully accelerated, because see, when your vibration is vibrating at a very high frequency, then the only energies that can join in with you are those energies that are also vibrating at that very high frequency. It's just like the vibrations of heat and light can occupy the same space at the same time and not interfere with each other because they have different rates of vibration. So you got to stay of a very accelerated rate of vibration yourself, and then having love and compassion for those who are still steeped in negativity. It reminds me of I got a little comment on my YouTube channel from one of the born again or dogmatic, I would say a dogmatic Christian person, and they were rebuking me, and saying that I was doing the work of the devil, and it just, a lot of very, very negative energies that were hurled at me. And, I just basically blocked them from being able to, to put a comment, on my YouTube channel. But at the same time, I sent them a tremendous amount of love, because I know that all of that projecting that they're doing onto me is from a place of them not having a clear understanding. Some people think they're doing the work of God, and even, where they say, oh, my God is a jealous God, or my God is an angry God. Well, God is not jealous of nothing and angry with no one. God in the exalted sense of who Creator really is. But there are those who make God in the image and likeness of their own, humanness, and so then begin to project these things onto others. And so whoever that being, is that said those things to me, I just send them love. They are my own self by extension also. And I hold a vision of them being in a much more exalted place in consciousness, where they can embrace and where they understand, that every path that a person is on is serving them in some way, even if that's not the path that they want to tread. And that's what I honor their path. Their path is not my path, but their path is appropriate for them. And I celebrate whatever, goodness they may be able to find through that path. So hold your center and, just move forward with the idea that you will be able to hold your center, rather than saying, I just lose my center when I get around people who are negative. Say instead, I really look forward to being able to hold my place of centeredness when I'm around those who are negative, and I stay in a place of exaltation. And even though I'm not totally there yet, I'm so excited about the fact that it won't be long before I'll get there. And so that's my recommendation for that. Actually, I think what I'd like to do is, we can all use a little bit of transcendent energy. I'd like for you to maybe tone with me a little bit. So let's offer some tones together, specifically for the purpose of transcending the negative energy that might come at us through environments that we're in or people that we're around. Tone with me. And a little bit of the didgeridoo as well. Divine Creator, God, Goddess, and beloved angels, we come before your sacred throne of spirit and truth. And we ask you, God, Goddess, to awaken within our being the awareness and presence of mind and heart to always maintain our sense of centeredness in the face of any negative energies coming from others, keeping our hearts open and full of love, that we bless every being that we come in contact with, knowing that every being in all existence is our own self by extension. We bless the darkness, make it right, reverse the tide, and free the light. We recognize that negativity is always the periphery and always the circumference, can't be the center, because light and love owns the center of everything. And so, beloved Creator, we go to the central core of our being where the light dwells, the central core of our being where the love dwells, where the peace dwells, where the wisdom dwells, where the understanding dwells, where the power to create dwells. And we allow ourselves to be aligned with the central core of our being. We thank you so much for this opportunity to come together in the cyberspace auditorium of Miraculii University, the Mystery School. And I ask your blessing upon every participant in this forum. Lift us up. Let us walk in our power, walk in our wisdom, and walk in our love. Aho Ashe, Amen, Namaste. Hotep in Lakesh, Alakin, Shalom. Satnam, Hari Om. Our sacred juices are cooked and infinitely expanding. Justifarai. And may we always have many miles on our smile, wiggle in our giggle, tingling in our boots, and laughter ever after. Thank you so much, beloveds. I appreciate you being with me. I love you so much. And I hold you in the light and the love and the wisdom and the peace and the joy and the bliss and the power. And may you always hold yourself in that same way. The replay link will be available. Pretty sure it's 10:30 Eastern time that it's available. And also, if you've been registered, for the webinar, the replay link will automatically come to you. And also, just want to mention, as you know, these the tuition for these webinars is a suggested offering. This 2-part Mercury retrograde one was a suggested heart offering of $17 to $44. And the way that you can submit that is by going to my website, Astarius.com, Astarius.com, and click on the donation button and put it in that way. I know many of you already have, but in the event that you have not, and you're feeling that you want to play in the field of win-win, please go ahead and do that. I appreciate that so much. I love you. And I wish you lucid dreams tonight. Fly well, beloved. Fly well.